Welcome back to TC Talk Sports, soon to be the best sports channel on all of YouTube. I am continuing to prove why I know the most about NBA basketball more than all the experts on TV. Everybody out there, I know more than every single person on this planet, and I have proven it in the past previews that I have posted. Holy alliteration. A lot of things I've said in those videos have been true. They've been coming to fruition. I've had a couple minor bad takes, maybe if you want to call it that. If you want me to prove it, go back and watch those videos. You'll realize how smart and how intelligent I am with the NBA. If you want to keep following along with me on this journey, hit that subscribe button. Go to TikTok, follow TC Talk Sports on TikTok. I post something on there and here every single day. If you're a major sports fan, you're just trying to get into a specific sport, this is the channel for you. TikTok page is definitely for you. Subscribe, follow, just do it, please. In today's preview, I'll be breaking down the Los Angeles Clippers. A good year last year for them, maybe until they got to the playoffs, but one of the more interesting teams coming into this 2025 season. An interesting roster, a couple key offseason moves. How well will they do this year? We'll find out together. I'll have my full prediction at the end of this video, so keep watching for that. But let's break down the LA Clippers. As I said, good year last year for the Clippers, 51-31. That was fourth best in the West. Made the playoffs. Once again, losing to my boys, the Dallas Mavericks, in the playoffs. This time it went 6 games, but Clippers losers, Mavs winners. I mean, this team had high expectations. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George. Offensively, they put up good numbers, 115.6 points per game, 12th best in the league. They were a pretty efficient team shooting the ball, 48.9% from the field and 38.1% from three, both of those 6th best in the league. Defensively, they were a pretty solid squad as well, only giving up 112.3 points per game. That put them 10th in the NBA. I mean, regular season, one of the best teams for sure. A fun team to watch. Got to the playoffs. Couldn't get past that first round. Will they get back there this season? Not quite sure, but they definitely have an interesting roster. A pretty deep team as well, so we'll see how it ends up. Before I get too deep into this team, make sure you drop a comment. We want to subscribe first and foremost, but comment what you think the Clippers' record's going to be, how far they'll make it, will they make a deep playoff run? What are your thoughts on James Harden? Because there's a lot of people that love him, a lot of people that hate him. Let me know what you think. 2025 Clippers, drop a comment, predictions, whatever you want. First up, you can't talk about the Clippers without talking about Kawhi Leonard, Mr. Injury Man, Load Management. Boardman's his actual nickname, but call him what you want. My opinions on him, I don't really know. I mean, when he's playing, he's a really good player offensively and defensively, very efficient. Last year, he ended up playing 68 games, so almost a full season. Averaged 23.7 points per game. That was 18th best in the league. Shot 41.7% from three. 6 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and he's one of the better defenders in the league. He was 5th with 1.6 steals per game. He is out indefinitely with a knee injury, as everybody knows. He has yet to play a game in this 2025 season. I mean, somebody said the best ability is availability, and he's very low on that availability list. One of the more injury-prone guys in the league. I mean, he's a good, effective player when he's on the floor, but he's usually not on the floor so far this season. Clippers are dealing with it. Not a terrible year for them so far early on in this 2025 season, but they're definitely going to want him on the floor for the rest of the season and going into the playoffs if they get there. James Harden, I think one of the best players in the league. He's been one of the best players in the league for the last 10 years. People don't really appreciate James Harden. I think that's a good way to put it. He's gotten better on defense. His assist numbers are up. I mean, you can't argue that he's one of the best players in the league. He's in his second year at the Clippers. Last year, his debut in LA, 16.6 points per game, shot 38.1% from three, was 4th in the league with 8.5 assists per game. As I mentioned, those assist numbers bumping up last year. He's very good sharing the rock. Also pulled in 5.1 rebounds per game, couple double-doubles. He's a triple-double threat every time he's on the floor. He can drop 40 points or he'll score 10 and have 16 assists. I mean, he can just do it all. He's become a much better on-ball defender. His steal numbers are up as well because a lot of people are giving him flack throughout his career of not being a good defender. He led the league in steals like 4 years ago, and overall the past couple years, he's been a solid defensive player. I think one of the more underrated players in the league is the Clippers center, Ivica Zubac. He set a career high with 11.7 points per game last year, 16th in the league with 9.2 rebounds, third in the league shooting 64.9% from the field. I mean, he's an efficient scorer. He can set screens, score down low, is not a three-point shooter, which is okay because this Clippers team has a bunch of shooters on this roster. So, I mean, he's a double-double threat every time he steps on the floor. He had 23 total double-doubles last year. This year he's had some really big games so far. I think he's one of the most underrated centers in the league and one of the most underrated players in the league. And just looking at my list, the next guy I think is definitely one of the most underrated players in the league. I mean, he's getting up there in age, but Norman Powell, he has started some games for the Clippers this season, and he might find himself in that role with Paul George now no longer on the Clippers. But last year he averaged 13.9 points per game, shot 43.5% from three. He is a very good three-point shooter. He always has his name in there for sixth man of the year. I think he could do it again this year as long as he actually comes off the bench, because I think he will start a bunch of games for the Clippers this season. But, I mean, he's just a three-point shooting threat. I just feel like nobody talks about Norman Powell. I mean, he can drop 20 points, 5 rebounds, make 6 threes a game. I mean, he's just a solid and efficient offensive player. Doesn't get talked about enough. Hopefully with him starting what I think is going to be a bunch of games this season, fans will actually watch him and see just how good he is. I've been saying that for the past couple years, just how good Norman Powell is, and hopefully the rest of the world gets to see that this year. In the offseason, first and foremost, the Clippers changing their logo to that boat. I'm not a really big fan of it. I like the old logo they had, but I'm sure there's people out there that love it or think it's really good. I don't know. Drop a comment if you like the Clippers' new logo or not, I guess. I'm not a fan, but that was the first move in the offseason, and then the big stuff started to happen. They got rid of Paul George and Russell Westbrook. I think Paul George played well with the Clippers last year. Westbrook, I mean, had his ups and downs. He's going through it right now with the Nuggets. I talked about him in my Nuggets preview, which is up on this channel, so go back and watch that. Just for the hell of it, why not? I don't think he's going to help that team too much. He's had some bad games, had some really good games there. The Nuggets are doing just fine this year, though. I think they'll be okay. But the Clippers got rid of those two guys. They did have some interesting moves acquiring players as well. They signed Derrick Jones Jr. from the Mavs. Not a crazy offensive type of guy, but he can definitely score. He can rebound. He's a good on-ball defender, so I think he's going to help the team's defense overall. Because last year, I think he was talked about in my Mavs preview, which I just posted. I think he was a really key part of that Dallas Mavericks team last year. He'd give them a couple points a game, grabbing some rebounds, make some highlight reel plays. He is definitely one of the highest verticals in the league. Defensively, I think it'll help this team overall. They also signed Chris Dunn, who I think will help their defense as well. He's been scoring a little bit so far this season for the Clippers, which I didn't really see coming from him, but he is a pretty solid player coming off the bench for the Clippers. He spent some time in Utah, and solid bench option there as well. So I think he'll have a small impact for the Clippers this year, but I think definitely a good signing for them. Clippers also picking up Nick Batum. He might be 50 years old now, but similar to Norman Powell, less athletic than Powell is, but Batum, a good catch-and-shoot guy. He can still rebound for his age. He's got some good size. Defensively, he might be a little bit of a liability. I don't think he's playing too many minutes so far for the Clippers, and I don't really see him having too much playing time anyways throughout the season, but just another interesting pickup for the Clippers. They also signed Kevin Porter Jr., who he didn't play last year. He got suspended for some legal troubles. Not going to go into that too much, but, I mean, despite what he did, he is a good basketball player. He played 59 games with the Rockets from 2022 to 2023, averaged 19 points per game, 5.7 assists, 5.3 rebounds per game. He's a good scorer, whether he's coming off the bench or starting for the Clippers this season. I think he's going to be effective. He's going to make an impact. His strong suit is his offensive abilities, super athletic as well. He also falls into my player to watch category for this Clippers team. Going to help with the offense. I think he'll be a good piece alongside Norman Powell, James Harden, and Zubac down low. He'll start some games. I think he'll come off the bench for some games. Good scorer, good playmaker. As I said, super athletic. Despite his legal troubles, he is a good player, and I think he's going to make a positive impact for this Clippers team on the floor. My prediction for this Los Angeles Clippers team in 2025, I kind of had to think about this one for a little bit. I'm not 100% sold that they're going to finish in the top 6 and secure one of those actual playoff spots. I want to say, if I had to pick, I'm going to say they're going to be a play-in team. I mean, there's other teams, I think, on the fringe of the playoffs, like the Grizzlies, the Rockets, the Mavericks, maybe, if they have a little bit of a down year. I think they're better than the Clippers. I think they have a chance to make that top 6 just because they have James Harden, veteran Norman Powell. I think Kevin Porter Jr. is going to play well for them. Terrence Mann's still a solid player. Derrick Jones Jr., a good signing. I mean, they have a pretty good roster, good depth. I just don't see them playing so well together that they can secure a top 6 spot. So I'm just going to go put it on camera. It's in writing. I think they're going to be a play-in team this year. I could see them winning that play-in game, winning a playoff series, but I don't see them as a championship contending team. Now, if Kawhi Leonard comes back and if he plays like the regular Kawhi Leonard, I think this team could bump into that top 6 spot, but I'm not even sold that Kawhi is going to even play this year. I mean, who knows with that robot, but I'm just going to say Clippers play-in spot, mark it down, but don't be shocked if they win a play-in game and win a playoff series this year.